Mr. Bruno,
Here.
Mr. Donovan, Connie Wang,
Here.
Jason Kim,
Yes.
John Madison,
Here.
Anthony Rotundo,
Here.
Jeffrey Lowe. Dr. Cirillo,
Here.
Mr. Stabile,
Here.
Mr. Boileau.
Here.
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, I hereby state that adequate notice of this special meeting has been posted and has been provided to the public in written notice dated April 26, 2017. This meeting notice has been posted on bulletin boards located inside each school building and Board of Education office, communicated with at least one board designated newspapers, filed with the Borough Clerk of Palisades Park. We have minute approvals for August 30th and September 20th. Wasn't there another one?
23rd was sent to everyone.
23rd,
Yes,
the
there was a
30th?
special meeting on the 23rd and then regular meeting on the 30th.
Okay,
That was sent to everyone.
right, and then September 20th.
That's what this is.
Yes.
August 23rd.
30th.
Okay, you wanna do them separate?
I make a motion to accept them.
I think Dr. Cirillo wanted to do them separately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can we do them together or do separately?
I don't know why, but we, doesn't matter to me, but I'm not being here for some. I think you just say that I recuse myself on this one. If you weren't at any of the meetings, just say so and run it for the record, please.
All right, so we're approving August 23rd minutes, August 30th and September 20th.
I'll second the motion.
It was John and Jason, yeah?
I seconded.
And Anthony.
Jason had seconded this.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know we seconded yet.
Roll call.
Did you a roll call? or you
Great.
hear it? Okay. Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
I abstained from the August 30th, I wasn't here, but yes, for
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
They all pass.
All right. My report, I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And this might be my last board meeting. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I wanted to thank Dr. Cirillo for the past 18 months of continuous communications. We have spoken a lot. I just, with all our conversations, you affirmed what I already knew. You are devoted to the children of this district and to the teachers, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you.
Report as a superintendent?
So I also have happy Thanksgivings, and I also need a motion when I go to new business for a memorandum of agreement with our local police department, the State Department of Education, and the local municipalities every year enter into a joint agreement. We were advised by the Department of Ed not to do it in August, as we always do, because there would be revisions. Unfortunately, the revisions have yet to come, and we've now been advised, get it approved at your next board meeting, which is tonight. So nothing has changed from years past. All boards are moving on this probably at their November meeting. I would need a resolution for that. I met with Chief Jackson. Everything remains in play as in years past. Finished.
Dr. Cirillo, do you wanna do that under new business or
Yeah.
under report of the superintendent? I have the
Rich?
resolution on here.
You can do it under your report, Joe, if you want. You can do it under new business. So either one. I would just ask the board then, in my report, either way, to move on the memorandum that is executed between the Palisades Park Police, the Palisades Park Board of Education. It gets approved by the County Superintendent's Office and the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office.
Are you making a motion, Joe?
I can't.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I do, Joe. I've always looked at those, and I haven't seen this one. No, it's usually sent to me and I review it. This is usually pretty long.
Yeah, 70-something pages.
I can do that in 10
Can you
minutes.
do that?
Do you wanna table it and come back to it?
Yeah, I don't think you have to get it done right now, Joe, right? I mean, I'm sure it's probably pretty standard, but I know I've always looked at it in the past.
All right, then I'll remove my motion then.
Well, there's no revisions.
table it and maybe Rich can have speed reading classes.
I'm not gonna be
There's no
tonight.
revisions. Table?
Can we approve it pending your review?
Is there a time frame they're giving you, Joe? Because normally it wouldn't be, I mean, I know you do it this time of year, but we can have it for the.
We usually do it in
December
August, Rich, and I don't.
meeting. Do you do it that early?
Yeah, we always do it in August.
It's up to you. I mean,
I think it's standard, nothing has changed since I've been on board, and again, until we won, December 20th is our next one.
well, then I'd recommend do it, let me review it, and if there's any issues, I'll let you know, and then at the next meeting, we can discuss it then. So you got the motion and the second, Doc?
So no further discussion, roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Report of the board attorney?
I have nothing right now.
Okay. Report of the committees, finance, Mr. Matisich?
Before you, you have the, is it not eight resolutions? I move on, I move on the consent agenda of all eight. I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Buildings and grounds, Mr. Rotundo?
Okay,
In front of you, you guys have 7 resolutions along with 2 letters about the resolutions in front of you, just for use of different facilities at the school. I ask that you pass all 7.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Personnel, Mr. Rotundo, please take that.
Yes. In front of you, you guys have 13 resolutions for different placements in different buildings. I ask again that you move on all 13.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Curriculum, Mr. Jason Kim.
I have nothing to report this time.
Negotiations, Ms. Wang.
Something to report at this time.
Policy, Mr. Rotundo.
No new policies.
PTA, PTSA, student activity, Ms. Wang.
There are 2 field trips. I can move to consent vote.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Calendar and foods, Ms. Wang.
Nothing to report at this time.
New Jersey liaison, Mr. Bruno.
No report at this time.
Any old business? New business? Mr. Matisich, would you like to take the resolution for the
Which
corrective
resolution?
action plan?
Draft resolution approval to advertise for the RFP and RFQ for the professional services. Whereas the board has adopted a corrective action plan, the CAP, concerning attorney billing practices and generally the award of professional services contracts, all of which are exempt from public bidding pursuant to NJSA 18A:5-581, and whereas the CAP requires that the award of professional services contract result from the deliberative and efficient process in compliance with NJAC 6A, 23A, 5285, and whereas the board is in need of appointing an attorney, auditor, and architect of record for the calendar year 2018, as professional services contracts may not be entered into for periods greater than 12 months, and the term of its current professionals are expiring now. Excuse me. Therefore, be it resolved that the above recitals shall be deemed a part and incorporated into the body of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the board authorizes the business administrator as appropriate, prepare such RFP and RFQ as are appropriate to comply with the requirements of the CAP for the solicitation of professionalism in the practice of law, accounting, architecture, and be it further resolved that due notice for this solicitation of such proposal be advertised in the official newspaper with responses to be received by the board within 20 days in accordance with such RFPs and RFQs, forms of which are to be made available to all prospective parties so applying. Such responses to be tabulated by the business administrator, and be it further resolved that the board may be in its discretion, interview any and all candidates for appointment based upon the proposal submitted. Phew. Somebody second it?
I second.
Say that all
I'll
over
second
again.
Sure, why not? Be resolved.
All right, any discussion on that?
I just have one question. When is this going out? This is gonna be advertised
By the first week of December.
first week in December?
Can we advertise it sooner than that? Because we have 20 days to get the response. So we need the response before the first meeting, reorg, and we still need time to look at all the proposals that come back.
I'll try to by next week, that's a bit of a short holiday. I'll try to get out by next week.
Okay, I was hoping by Friday, but. But now the other question is it 20,
20 days.
20 school
It's
days, calendar days,
You can make it whatever you want, but it's normally 20 days,
calendar days?
calendar days.
Okay, so that puts us in a really tight position because school is closed the last week of December. And then we need everything finalized before reorg. So as soon as it's possible, we can put it out there.
Well, when is real?
Well, it's the new board that's gonna appoint these people.
Right,
It's not this board.
Correct. So,
So it's
but
not, I
recommendations
mean,
have to be made, interviews have to be made before reorg.
not necessarily, but look, I'm not gonna get involved. The only thing I'm gonna say right now is I don't know who wrote this, I can only assume who wrote this. That first paragraph saying the cap was concerning attorney billing practices, it involved a lot more than attorney billing practices, and I want that out of this resolution. Because that's really, really prejudiced. And I don't wanna have to deal with that. So, whoever wrote it, and again, I know who wrote it, why, I don't know, but, I want that out. Because unless you put in there, it also involved the fact that the board didn't do this, the business administrator didn't do that, the superintendent didn't do this. There were a lot of other things in there than just correcting billing practices of attorney.
you can move that one.
So,
You can move that one.
I can't remove anything.
No, I'm saying.
I'm just telling you that, other than that, I'm taking offense to it. And I'd like to know who did write it.
Came from the attorney.
I do
I
know.
wanna know, came from the attorney that was
I do
hired by
know.
the board, special
Yes.
counsel, and that falls under his opinion, falls under the corrective action plan.
And the corrective action plan says it has to state in there, the corrective action plan was specific. Corrective action plan, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, had a lot of other issues in it too.
It did, yes.
So,
So.
if we want to address all of them, put them all in there.
If you want to remove concerning attorney billing practices, just the corrective action plan will generally award professional service contracts.
That's number one. Number two, this board is not the one who's gonna appoint these three people.
Correct.
The only change in the new board is 2 members.
It's still a new board. You can have the same board re-elected and coming in next year, it's still considered a new board. You can't find future boards.
So
It's up to you.
then,
Is there anybody I'm giving?
Listen, we've never done this, I'm not,
No, you have. You did
not under
RFQs
my
2 years
watch.
ago.
Not under my
No,
watch.
we did them a couple of years ago.
Not under my
No.
watch. It's okay. Not under my watch.
When Dr. Hayes was here, Rich.
Yeah.
Is
prior
that
to
no
me.
one's done?
Yes,
But we've definitely done them.
yes.
I'm just curious, for the record, Rich?
And I don't know if you're doing RFPs or RFQs, they're two separate and distinct things, so.
Yeah, so Rich, legal question for my own edification.
Go ahead.
Is it necessary to do a resolution to do an actual advertisement for those professional services? Is this,
I haven't seen
Over-
it this way. Normally,
you
it's
have or have not?
I have not. Normally what happens is, and again, understand something, RFPs, RFQs, are absolutely required for municipalities. They're not required for boards of education. The board can do one of two things. They can do it this way, or they can do the deliberative, effective way of financially being prudent, which we've seen recently in other districts weren't so financially prudent. But,
And we've done both over the years.
yes, yes. And the last one I did, I guess it was when Mark was here.
Mhm.
But I remember that was whenever, and we did them, and didn't have much response. Normally, you would just tell your business administrator to advertise for RFQs, but, you know, I'm not gonna say, you guys do whatever you want with the resolution, but that's the change that I would look at.
Well, it's not a recommendation of the superintendent, is it?
Superintendent has anything to do with these three professionals. The only three you don't recommend.
Is the resolution upon my recommendation?
Personally, I don't think so.
No.
If it was, I would say let's retract that sentence and continue to move forward. But if it's not my place to do so,
Is that okay with the board?
I can't do that. You guys would have to do that.
Yeah, is that okay with the board to retract that one sentence?
Well, if we're not doing this as a resolution, then none of this is,
Well, I think we needed the resolution, the advice was that we needed the resolution so we can then direct the VA to advertise.
so we can actually just say that we authorize the business administrator to, go off for RFP and RFP.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you not to do it, because obviously there's been advice given somewhere along the line that you should do it. All I'm asking is for those 4 words to be taken out, or add 20 more words to everything else that was in the corrective action plan. If you take out those 4 words, it's not gonna affect the corrective action plan, believe me. But you can do it by resolution if that's what you've been so advised.
Well, I don't know, I have not been advised, so, I mean, I've just seen this for the first time tonight.
Well, you paid for it, so you might as well use it,
Mr.
but
Stabile, please
all I have to
correct us or give us light, did this not come from Lou Flora, the special counsel that we hired just for the corrective action
Yes, I
plan?
stated that earlier.
Right.
In response to Mr. Proveron's question, yes.
So,
That's where it came from.
yes, this was the direction of Lou Flora. And as far as the cap, everything I understand about the corrective action plan is that it has to be followed to the letter, because it is a state mandate, and if we don't do this by the book, the board will get into serious trouble.
And then what I would think is that we would then pass this, but with the caveat of saying that with the advice of Lou, whether or not those 4 words should remain or change. And then it's passed, and he would tell us, because he's the one that is advising us on this situation, what should move forward from there. Because right now, we're basically just going back and forth over things that we really don't have the person here to advise us of it now. The resolution itself seems to be fine, except we're concerned about those words. So I would say we passed it with that stipulation, and we can go with it from there.
Seems good.
No, I really think that these 4 words is just pointing at only one person. And because we have a general clause of adopting a corrective action, I don't think we actually need these 4 words to be in it. This will be active as it is without those 4 words. And as Superintendent mentioned it, we could just strike these 4 words and then just continue with a corrective action plan.
But again, without the advice, there's a reason that there may be a reason why they were in there to begin with. Without the advice of the person here, us voting on something, ourselves taking the 4 words out, I don't see that as being correct. I think that in the end, they remain until we get the advice of why they are or are not supposed to be in there.
So do you want to table this until next?
Then I would vote to table until the next.
Okay, we don't have enough
Yeah.
time then, we need to advertise now, because we have 20 days.
That's why,
You advertise.
Let me ask you- I just gotta ask you a question.
It's 2017. I think he has a cell phone. We can table it and call him.
This is I have a mundane kind of question. This document, that, you know, the resolution that we're looking at without these 4 words, with the 4 words. Who gets to see this? Does this go out into the newspaper?
Not the resolution.
No.
there's a-
So the resolution does, so this is an
No.
in-house,
In-house thing.
okay, that's all I needed to know.
There's a separate advertisement.
That's what I.
It's a
so
public
doesn't go out to the
But it
public.
goes into the
Public
official
document,
minutes.
yes.
Huh?
It's a public document, it goes into the
No,
minutes.
no, it's a public document, but it doesn't go out in the ad for
No, this is not an act.
That's what I'm
This is
saying.
not an act.
I just have a question. The 20 days, when does it go in effect? Once we approve this, right?
No, once they post it for advertising.
Once they start, then we have 20
Yeah.
days.
20
So
days
we haven't
from
started
yes.
posting. So if we start posting, say December 1st, like Paul mentioned, then the 20 days will be in effect then.
Right, so it would be like
So-
December 20th.
Right, so we have the 20 days from December 1st to the 20th to see what applicants come in. If we want to interview any of these applicants, to go over it and then get them ready for our December's meeting. But then like,
December.
again, but then we can't, we can't because he said it's, the new board has to decide what the new professional, people we're gonna hire. Or, another thing possibly is, if we do advertise after December, and the new board reviews them, say within a week, and then they hire them at the week after the reorg. I don't even know, when do we plan the reorg?
We have yet to discuss that.
Yeah, we have conflicting answers here, so it's
Gotta
kind
be
of hard to
done
decide.
first week of January.
First week in January.
For 7 days.
Mhm.
If you don't have a quorum, you go out to the 10th.
That's my opinion, so I don't know, what the rest of you think. I mean, if we're talking about, like I said, 20 days.
Alright, why don't we table it at this point, pending someone trying to get in touch with Lou. Maria, if you wanna try and get in touch with him.
No, I'll call.
You wanna call him?
I'll call Lou, yeah.
Okay. Do you have his number?
Yes, I do. If you want to call it, you can change that. Oh, I don't have a cell number there, I'm sorry.
I don't know if this is a cell.
Call them now?
We'll pull
That's
them
what I'm
out.
saying. Yeah, I'll call
You don't wanna call them now.
Does this need to be passed for you to advertise?
That was my
Yes.
question.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
really the only thing
Well,
that's,
then, we have to do it now.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It has to be passed.
Paul,
Yes, sir.
I don't have your cell phone number, I can give you the contact right now. So the motion was made by Anthony to table it until you speak to Lou, so somebody needs to second that and then vote.
I'll second it.
Step out and call.
okay. So let's move on
Get
to,
a vote, you gotta vote first.
oh, table. All right, roll call for tabling.
What, it's John and Anthony, or?
Yeah, John,
Or Anthony and
Anthony and
John?
John.
oh, John and Anthony.
What is it?
Anthony first.
Anthony. Adrian.
Don't
And then
ever come
John
to another
second.
meeting.
It's the first time I've seen you here too.
Ms.
It's got a
Alvarez?
toothache.
You have a toothache, really? No.
There's too much going on.
No. Welcome to my world. Okay, roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jason Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Mr. Latone?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to open audience participation?
A motion.
Do I hear a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Audience participation. Audience participation. You can say anything that's on your mind.
I just asked Mr. Mary, this document is not distributed before this meeting, so everybody can review it prior to this.
You have to stand and state your name, sir.
So George Adulis, or repeat the question again?
Yes.
This document is supposed to be distributed amongst the staff, the committee, to review this document prior to this meeting.
So, the question is, does the document need to be distributed prior to the meeting? What document?
This one.
We're talking
The
about
much discussed
this
resolution.
resolution.
Yeah, it should have been out to the public. All
It's not
resolutions.
public
The
also,
public has it.
I never saw it.
board. That's why I'm questioning why is there such,
Confusion.
confusion, yes, thank you.
Well, obviously, the BA received it. I, as president, also received it. I'm assuming Dr. Chivolo also received it.
I did, I took exception with it. I actually questioned why it was needed. I was advised that part of our corrective action plan required it. Again, that's hence my question to our attorney. Was it necessary? Is it necessary? Regardless, I know that there's been a revision to it since the original one. My position was originally here. Personally, this is not a function of the superintendent of schools necessarily, and now that's been removed, but that's to the best of my knowledge. I've seen it now for the second time, first time yesterday. Sorry, Rich.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yes.
Just, I want you to understand, my response to you was not about whether it was involved in your corrective action plan, which I didn't see it, but if that's what you were told, that's.
Yeah, I don't-
Mine was more, in the 30 years I'm representing school districts, I have not seen that they've had to do this way.
And that's
Normally, it's just something they advise the business administrator to do.
Correct, okay.
Anything further?
Can we go back to, I'm sorry, I missed who opened,
Who opened the closed?
open session? I missed
Anthony
that.
and John.
Yeah, I'm sorry, thank you. Who did?
So we can close. Audience participation. Oh, go ahead.
Nancy Andrake from the ECC. I was just wondering, I mean, we were doing our faculty handbooks. I know this is kind of a dumb time to bring this up, but the dress code in there, I mean, they have listed that women can wear pantsuits. I mean, I'm probably the only one in the room that has a pantsuit from way back when. I mean, I just think maybe it should be rewritten or, you know, just more up to date. I think it's from, I don't know what the year is that,
It doesn't say bell bottoms in there, does it?
I'm not sure.
Poodle skirts.
No, it's really
It's never
dated.
been open.
So, you know, just whenever, you know, you have some downtime and you wanna do something, just a suggestion.
Personally, I thought pantsuits were coming back. I thought Hillary, but anyway, no, that truly, believe it or not, has to be negotiated. I have to work that out with the union.
Oh, really? Because when I said that, it said it was a policy, and that's why.
It is, but you don't, normally that could be, I mean, I don't think it would be a problem, but, you know, I mean, if they wanna have some colloquy,
'Cause I
about
did-
it,
I
we could, but
did
I would
think
not
that.
do it unilaterally,
Okay.
out of respect for it.
Left a message, I texted them as well.
Anything further from the audience? Can close audience participation?
I'll make the motion.
We may need to take formal action after.
Well, we do.
All right. We have
Did you
to
get
go
that
into
back?
closed session, and we're gonna take action on HIV issues after that. And we'll just wait to see if we can speak to Mr. Flora. In the meantime, I'm not gonna sit here for hours and wait for him.
Are you guys gonna be here an hour?
I don't know. No, it shouldn't take. HIV is.
Every time you say 5-10 minutes, it's an hour.
It shouldn't be.
Stop.
Everybody gobble gobble next week.
Huh?
Happy
gobble gobble.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, have a good night, take care.
Bye, Nance. Hey, Nance. Nance, did you get